Check out Bob Kemp's Bottom Line daily on NBCSports1060.com and listen to the Sports Zone from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday here on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 and 100.7 HD2.
Back on Lance J Radio Network, this is a little bit of Pete Rock. A lot of people that follow hip-hop, Pete Rock on his albums, Mecca and the Soul Brother, even his instrumental albums like Peace-strumentals, he has these interludes that are like 15, 20 seconds long. And the interludes are better than the tracks that CL Smooth and himself and Large Professor and I and the groups that he's worked with are rapping over. This is one of his interludes from the Main Ingredient album, right before the song Sun Won't Come Out. And with the benefits of YouTube that loops all of this stuff, you can pull all of the loops. And I would just implore someone, go to YouTube, look up Pete Rock interludes, and you'll have about 15, 20 amazing beats. Speaking of being amazing, protect your personal information. Call my guys down at Second Eye IT Security for your home, business, or personal office information technology needs. These consummate professionals, sorry, screwed it up, Rick, my bad, have 20 years of both private and government sector experience managing cloud systems, firewalls, virus removal, in addition to your laptop or PC repair needs. I personally use this product to protect my family's financial and private information from the cesspool of charlatans and hackers and scam artists on the World Wide Web. For a free consultation, go to www.secondieitsecurity.com or call 800-320-8435. Tell them the Lance J Radio Network sent you and experience a discounted offer. So my in-studio guest for the evening, my man G Money, former player, former coached by yours truly. He was going into some of the times that we had back in the day. I know that it's really irrelevant when you look at it from a sports standpoint. I mean, we should be breaking down how LeBron going to be able to go out tomorrow and beat the entire Celtics team by himself. I mean, is Cleveland back in it? Is Coach Stevens the Bill Belichick of the NBA? I mean, that's what most shows are breaking down, but you can generally hear that anyway. I think it's funny, and regardless of what happens with the Cavs, Tyronn Lue versus Brad Stevens is a mismatch of epic proportions. Tyronn Lue is he's like Armando Benitez, Walter Mondale, and Glass Joe all rolled up into one. Now, Geraldy, you're too young to understand any of those references. Armando Benitez was an abominable closer for the Baltimore Orioles back in my time in the early 90s. If he was in a big game and the Orioles were up against the Yankees in the playoffs and they needed a 3-out save, no dice. He was giving up a home run. Glass Joe is on Mike Tyson's Punch Out, so you know who Glass Joe is. He's the first person that Little Mac beats. Walter Mondale ran against Ronald Reagan in 1984, and I don't think he won any state. But the point is, there's an episode on The Simpsons where Homer Simpson is a boxer and he has some genetic defect that allows him not to get knocked down. These are other references that are before your time. He fights Dredrick Tatum, and Dredrick Tatum is the caricature of Mike Tyson. And that's the type of mismatch Tyronn Lue is versus it's like Dredrick Tatum fighting Homer Simpson. But I digress. Back to our old times playing basketball. I was talking about a story that I had about my man G Money here. We were in Dayton, and within our little league, we were in I think it was a playoff game. I'm pretty sure it was a playoff game. But we were in Dayton. Dayton was the team from Dayton, Ohio, was our arch rival in the South. So the way that our league was set up, it was the states of Ohio, the state. We had a team out in Indianapolis, and we had teams in Pittsburgh. But we were in the Southern Division with Indianapolis and with Dayton and Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio. And then the Northern Division was mostly Cleveland and Pittsburgh-based teams. Dayton was our arch rival. We were at a road game in Dayton, and they always played us really, really tough. We had just won the championship the previous year, so we were coming off of a championship run. We had added some real talent to the team, and we felt that we should just have been a cakewalk to win the championship.
I thought so, too.
But sometimes when you have more talent, you have less of a team-based mentality, but I digress.
We had a squad that year, man. Like, I thought we weren't going to lose any games.
Well, we probably would have won this game if you hadn't have thrown a tantrum. So if I remember correctly, and I'm getting old, but Geraldy is in an isolation play, breaks his man off the dribble, takes it to the rack, is basically tackled on his way. You know, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer versus Jordan style, tackled on his way to the rim. It was a clear foul. I think the guy actually almost threw a punch and, like, hit you in the face. Yeah. Like he tried to tackle you so bad. The ref doesn't call it. We're on the road. It was clear that the ref saw it and didn't want to call it. Was defending the home team. The refs were always cheating. My player begins screaming expletives at the referee. Begins cursing out the referee, running. Now, I was very close to cursing out the referee myself, so I understood his pain. Referee calls a technical foul, which you deserved.
Oh yeah,
because you had earned the foul. That was a technical foul.
Definitely deserved the other one.
I'm sending someone to come get you so you can sit on the bench and cool off. As you're walking off the court, you turn to the referee and you say, quote, bleep your tech. And he ejected you from the game.
Yeah.
You were ejected. You told, now remember, you're 30 now, 29 or 30. I mean, you're an adult now, have a beard and bald and I mean, you're getting in shape, but you're kind of fat like me.
I'm in there
but you're getting in shape.
Club.
I see you on Instagram. I see you getting it in, getting ready for your wedding.
Sir.
Want to look good for the wedding, so I understand that. But this isn't 27, 28-year-old G Money saying it. This is an 18-year-old kid saying to the referee, quote, bleep your tech. Now, what was going on in your mind when you said that? And remember, you got to be careful with your language because I don't want to pay the FCC fine or get fired from the show.
Well, to me, it was like, because every time we played them, you know how that went. There were games we've played them during the season where they don't have a shot clock. You know, they're keeping the score on the chalkboard.
Right.
Like, we could have been losing by 7, but we've been scoring for the last 8 minutes, and we look up, we're still down by 10.
Right.
It didn't make no sense. So I could tell he was just giving them everything. And then, like you said, he almost punched me in the face with that foul, and then he didn't call it. You know, me, my temper. I said the first one, but for some reason I felt I had to turn around and say something else because he deserved it and got the second tech. As a matter of fact, if I don't recall, he wouldn't even let me sit on the bench with the team. I sat on the end of the bench.
Well, when you get thrown out of a game, you have to leave. So right, you don't get to say to the ref, bleep your tech, and then sit down next to the coach on the bench.
Was I gonna go though? You know,
you go to the parking lot. You need to go to the locker room in the back.
Yeah, I tried to come back and sit at the end of the bench.
Did you think that was disrespectful to your coach to say that?
Yeah, it was at the time, but you know me. At that time, I wasn't even worried about that because I was into that game. Because like we were losing, like I think we were still losing that game too.
Yeah, we're losing the game. It was relatively close though. Did you think that by getting kicked out the game that gave us a better chance to win since you were one of the best players on the team?
Nah, it didn't. I kind of felt. I can't even remember that far if we won that game.
No, we did not win that game.
Yeah, that's the one.
We lost that game. And that was the end of our season.
We lost that game, and I believe it was the end of that season.
Right.
I felt.
And then the next year, I coached the first couple of games, and then I went to Cincinnati, and then I was done.
And then that was about it.
And then Zolly was coaching.
Yeah, Zolly coached us the following.
I'm sure he ran that team into the ground. He didn't know what he was doing.
Man, that's when I finally stopped playing for that league, man. I'm telling you.
Right.
I just stopped because we had Marvin and all of them, but it wasn't like it was anymore. You know, the structure and all that stuff. It wasn't really that much fun to play anymore.
So what type of, if you remember correctly, what type of, because a lot of people don't know that I coached basketball. And I think that coaching. I mean, I have Lyme disease, and I stopped coaching after I got Lyme disease because I have some issues with balance, and I just can't stand up for the 2 hours for the game like I used to. What type of defense did we used to run?
Man, we would press you to death, man. Like, you couldn't even dribble the ball the way we played. Like, every made bucket, we're right there on you all game long.
Now, what was the difference between, because you played at Whitehall. Now, Whitehall was not a very good high school during your era, but during my era, Whitehall was a really, really good high school. I mean, they weren't state championship good, but they were district finalist type of good when I was growing up. I grew up in Reynoldsburg area, so Whitehall was right next to Reynoldsburg. What was it like playing at Whitehall? What were some of the differences playing there and playing with our team?
Man, it was night and day, to be honest. Like, I remember when I was playing for them, I was still, playing basketball there and playing with you guys. It was, like I said before, I had
Which was illegal, both for
Which was, yeah,
so,
might I say.
So Whitehall should forfeit all of their games, and we should have forfeited all of our games because there was a law stating that kids could only play X amount of hours, so you could not play AAU or church league and play
high
for
school.
Right.
But
but you didn't care.
I didn't care.
I looked the other way. I pretend.
I was built for basketball. I mean, wherever I had to play, I just played.
We're from Columbus, man. We've seen people look the other way with benefits, and that's part of the culture.
Yeah, but definitely though, it was just different. Like the way you coach, we were big on defense, and the thing was, like I said before, every one of us had something that we could do that was different, and you put all of that together. Steve, we all knew, he wasn't the one-on-one ISO type of player, but put the ball in Steve's hand and put me off a screen, screen and roll. Dayton couldn't do anything with that one. That was the main one. And then we had guys like Terrell. He's down there in the paint. Then you had John. That's your muscle, Big John. Rebound all day. Then you had Brandon. He's a little frail, but he was more so there, to rebound a little bit. Couple pick and pop plays for him. But we had a pretty good team, though. You ran it pretty well, and that first year was the craziest year because I didn't think we were going to go that far that first year.
Right. Shout out to Tarek Odom because Tarek.
Tarek, that's my boy.
Was a freshman, and he couldn't shoot to save his life, but he was a great defender.
Oh man, Tarek could lock you down. That's what made our press work most.
He was like the Bruce Bowen of our team.
Yeah,
like he didn't really contribute a whole lot on the offensive end, but he was a lockdown defender.
That's what made that press work for us all the time. Tarek, we'd make people commit a lot of turnovers up and down the court all day, and we could also put you to sleep in a half court set. To be honest, we had a pretty good half court set also, because you had to kind of pick your poison. If you wanted to leave me isolated or screen and roll, Steve's out there because I could definitely score, but I also would look for the right shot for somebody out there. So I think that's what really made it all work when I got there, because we all then seemed like, we wanted to be the main person to carry a team. We all did something to make it work. It was very
Boston Celtics-esque.
I was gonna say that.
I don't think we had one definitive star. I think everybody
was in the
everybody
system.
did one thing really, really well, and we would capitalize off of the things that we did well. I think that it's funny. I know we're about to go to break, but my memory from that season, and Terrell has been on this show. Terrell was on this show back in the podcast days, back before we were on ESPN Radio and then now on NBC Sports Radio. I think with Terrell, what really changed it for me is when Terrell's grandmother passed away.
Oh, yeah.
And me, you, and Steve went to the funeral.
Yeah.
And the funeral happened to be on the same day as the
championship game, yeah.
And we were playing that team in Pittsburgh that had been beating the brakes off of us throughout the year. And, we went there to pay our respects, and we were just like, yo, Terrell, we're going to go up to Cleveland. We're going to win because the championship game was in Cleveland. We're going to win the championship, and we're going to dedicate it to you. And Terrell was like, nah. He was like, I'm going.
Yeah, and he came.
And with Terrell, we got in that locker room, and everybody saw Terrell there. I was like, we're going to win this game. There was no way that we were going to lose that game.
Remember what they were doing before that game?
Right.
Beatboxing and freestyling how bad they were going to beat us.
Yeah.
It was a different night.
Yeah, that was a real special time, and I think that it's funny. It's great to have you in studio, Geraldy. The bonds that you build with people over the course of time. I mean, we're adults. I'm gonna be 40 in a couple weeks. you're 30. I mean, we're all men now. But looking back to those times back from 2005, it was a special opportunity. And, I appreciate the chance to share that with you. We'll be back.
Definitely.
A little bit more of me and my man G Money back, Lance J Radio Network. After these messages, NBC Sports Radio.